Hello, and welcome to the Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Paul Cuffey, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. It is my distinct honor, joy, and privilege to invite you and to welcome you. For those of you who are new to us, I would like to invite you to visit ABQCSL.org, where you can find out all sorts of wonderful things about what goes on here at the center. There, you can also fill out a visitor card so that we can reach out to you and perhaps grow and blossom a beautiful relationship, welcoming you into our community. Here at the center, what we do can best be summed up with our mission statement. We are love in action, transforming lives, and transforming communities. And we do that with a thing called the Pathway, which is a way for you to explore your own spiritual growth and awakening. And so once again, I'd just like to welcome you. One of the things we do here at the center is light a candle honoring something of some significance or someone of some import. And today, what I would like to do is light a candle for the solstice. The winter solstice is traditionally a time of transformation. We enter into the longest night of the year, and it promises an ushering in of the new day. Tomorrow's solstice is particularly special because it is also happening with a very distinct conjunction in the sign of Aquarius. I won't go into great detail about that, but I will invite you to look up in the sky tomorrow evening for the Christmas star, which is really the partnering of Jupiter and Saturn in the sky. And so we light this candle for the winter solstice. So once again, welcome, thank you, and enjoy.
Hello, I'm practitioner Clarissa Crow. Good morning and blessings to all of you, my beautiful spiritual family. And I truly mean all of you, Anybody who's watching right now, whether I know you well or have not met you yet, I know that we are one family, one beloved community upon this beloved planet at this very significant time in human history. And I'm so grateful for every single one of you, for each soul that chose to incarnate here at this time. So please join me as we take this into prayer. So just acknowledging and celebrating all of the beautiful ways that the love and the light of Spirit finds expression. I see it in the kindness, the givingness, and forgivingness, in the joy and understanding and open hearts that we connect to during this holiday season of light. I see it in nature, both in Mother Nature and in the nature of our own being, the movement of the seasons, the gestation and regeneration that is happening beneath the surface right now. I see it in the cosmos, in the powerful conjunction of planetary bodies that is truly ushering in a new era for humanity. The ripples of love that we've been sending out for so long are growing exponentially now and becoming waves of powerful love and light. And as they continue to gain momentum over the next 6 months, they grow into a tsunami of high-frequency vibration that washes over us all, elevating humanity to a place of love and freedom and belonging like we've never known before. How glorious to be alive right now, to be awake and aware and able to consciously participate in this exciting shift. I know that all of us are guided by the voice of Spirit within us now and always. I know that the perfect next right step for each of us is clearly shown to us. I know that we belong to each other and that we continue to understand and experience the truth of that more deeply every day. I know that we are truly purging and letting go of all old ways of being that no longer serve, making space for the absolute highest and absolute best expression of who we are. So in great gratitude and great love, I just allow this all to be, and so it is. So I have 2 readings for you this morning. The first one is called Awaken, and it's by Naima Penniman. We are in the wake of a great shifting. Awaken. You better free your mind before they illegalize thought. There's a war going on. The first casualty was truth, and it's inside you. The universe is counting on our belief that faith is more powerful than fear, and that in the shifting moment, we'll all remember why we're here. In a world where you're assassinated for having a dream, and the rich spend $9 billion a year to control our ideas, and visions are televised so things aren't what they seem, we gotta believe in a world where there's room enough for everyone to breathe. We were born right now for a reason. We can be whatever we give ourselves the power to be. And right now, we need daydreamers, gatekeepers, truth speakers, light bearers, bridge builders, web weavers, food growers, wound healers, trailblazers, cage breakers, life lovers, peacemakers. Give what you most deeply desire to give. Every moment you are choosing to live, or you are waiting. Why would a flower hesitate to open? Now is the only moment. Raindrop, let go. Become the ocean. And the second reading is called Winter Solstice, and it's by Oak Chazar. The longest night gifts us with time to enter the darkness fully. We hold our breaths with nature, where life is suspended, waiting in extremis. The stillness behind action gathers as we empty and trust in our renewal. What will you give or lose to the night? Death is a metaphor. Learn to keep dying. The old symbol systems are dissolving at our feet. We need a new language to speak to the crisis of denial and despair. Imagine new models of love, work, health, education, security. Claim your inner resources and fasten your seatbelt. Like Copernicus, we're engaged in a cultural rescue attempt. We're not at the center, but one species among millions. Like Cassandra, we shake others awake from the slumber overtaking them. We've got to see through the assumptions and fears, awaken to the warning signs of a world slipping away, in fire, in water, in our human collusion, in all directions. Our stories close their circle to enfold us. All the old laws are thrown into the cauldron of solstice as we embrace the ground of what death doesn't touch. So let's go now into meditation. Close your eyes or leave them open, but take a deep, cleansing belly breath and allow yourself to rise to a deeper place. That may seem counterintuitive. Wouldn't we be sinking if we're going to the depths rather than rising? Maybe, but maybe not. Embrace the paradox. Stay open. And imagine that you are rising into a deeper awareness. Breathe. Feel the living water all around you. The changeless essence that was never born and can never die. Connect to it. Dance in it. Commune with it. Now try this on. What if your past is in front of you and your future is behind you? Stay with me. Breathe. You are not moving through time. Time is moving through you. The past has already moved through, so it's in front where you can see it. The future is behind you where you can't see it yet, waiting to move through you. So as you look forward into the past, look beyond all the events of this lifetime and notice all the wise, awakened beings who lived before you ever incarnated in this body. See their prayers, their blessings, the sacred rituals they performed in your honor. Receive the blessings of the ancestors now. thousands of years of prayers for the people who would be here now at the time of this great shift in human consciousness. Breathe into your belly and breathe out your own blessings for this time now and for the future generations. Spend a few moments in the silence and connect to your vision for the world. What does the new world look like? What does it feel like? Ask your own soul in this quiet space to reveal to you what you need to know. Breathe. Listen. Stay open. Trust what comes. Don't analyze. Just receive. Give thanks for being exactly who you are, exactly where you are. Give thanks for your connection to all of life. And gently begin to return to this space now. You are blessed, and you are a blessing. Happy solstice. Merry Christmas. Stay woke. I love you. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough. Yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Good morning. My name is Maddie Suarez, and I'm a practitioner here at the Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome. So glad that you're joining us today. on this beautiful Sunday morning. I'm here at the center today filming, so it's a great day. I'm excited. I would like to know how your week went. For me, I did a lot of the pause, a lot of the stillness, and I really enjoyed it. I find that it calms the crazy and just lets me be present in the moment. It's such a good feeling. I really enjoyed it. Also, I was thinking that maybe I can get some direction about where I'm going to go in my next part of my life, which is something I'm looking at now. So in that pause, in that stillness, that's what I'm being open to, whatever I can receive from that. So it's really nice. I just like the word pause as well. I think the word makes me physically pause. It makes my body change. And so I've been using that too. So let us know how your week was, and tell us if you experience anything from that practice. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you. I'm also super excited to tell you about the $1,000 Club. I'm hoping that you already know about it and you're preparing for the whole thing. And what it is it's a club of people or groups, small groups of people that give $1,000, either in a one-time gift, or you can make a commitment for the next year that you will have that $1,000 to the center. And we're doing that because we have a donor who is matching $30,000. $30,000. So, of course, our goal is to raise $30,000. And so if you want to do it by being in the $1,000 Club, that's awesome. You can also just donate any amount towards that fund. You can do that as well. If you are in the $1,000 Club, you're going to get a special gift from me, a homemade treat of sorts. And if you were here last year and participated, you know what that's like. I'm expecting those people to sign up again. And then you'll get something in the mail from me. Probably, actually, it might even be delivered at the beginning of the year. So if you'd like to sign up, go on the website, abqcsl.org. You're going to go to the Donate Now button, and then you're going to put in the $1,000 Club in the memo section. And again, you can donate a one-time $1,000 gift, or you can set it up so that it would be for the year, however you want to work that out. So thank you in advance for that, and I'm super excited. And I don't know, I thought, gosh, what if we have more than 30 people in the $1,000 Club? I'm going to have to work a little bit harder than I thought, but I'm ready for the challenge, so make it happen. Thank you. The other thing we're really excited about is we want to get to 200 sustaining givers in our community. And what that means, a sustaining giver is someone who gives a certain amount, like sets it up on a monthly basis or bi-monthly basis or however they want. Like for me, I have something come out of my checking account automatically on the 15th of every month because I pay my mortgage on the 1st, and that just works for me. And I've just made a commitment to the center that that's going to come out every month. So you can sign up for that. We have 100 people currently sustaining givers, and we want to have 200 by the end of 2021, and I know we can do it. I'm super excited about it, and it can be any amount. It could be $5, it could be $500. Anything is absolutely welcome, and we appreciate it. What we do with that money is we pay the mortgage on the building, we pay for the people that work there. We fund the spirit groups, we fund all the classes, all the activities. It pays for everything. So, and we give a ton of money back to the community because our goal here is to end poverty. So anything you give is so appreciated. We are so grateful for it, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart. So thank you in advance for that. If you wanted to make a donation today, just for today, you can also do that. You can do text to give, and that number should be on your screen. Or you can also go on the website, abqcsl.org, press the Donate Now button, and sign up that way. So thank you. We have so much going on. I'm super excited, and I hope you are too. I'm going to go ahead and read our abundance affirmation that was written by Paul Cuffey, and he is a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. So I'll read that to you now. My community is my refuge. In the darkest of times, I join with my community and find solace in spirit. We are all each other's keepers. Our love is our gift. I give with love to my spiritual family, and with love I receive all blessings. Ashe, Aho, Iasias, Amen, and so it is.
I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. Ave Maria, Kyrie eleison. Ave Maria, Kyrie I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God. I am one with the heart of the mother. I am one with the heart of love. I am one with the heart of the Father. I am one with God.
Happy solstice, beloveds! How good it is to be with you in this amazing season of pause, in this incredible opportunity we have to adventure together to nowhere, to adventure into this season of pause, this season of rest, this season of quiet, this season that really is a celebration and an honoring and an invitation into divine wisdom. And that one place that we adventure together in this season is to that wisdom that is within, and to that incredible principle of oneness. And I love that in these travels we've been in December, that we're joining in with these wisdom traditions from around the world. And we're going to talk about a couple of those. And one of those is the Yule tradition. And in this tradition, there's the story of the Holly King and the Oak King. And the Holly King is the king of the waning light, the king of the dark part of the year, the god of dark. And the Oak King is the king and the god of the waxing light, of the light part of the year. And at solstice, at winter solstice, the Oak King forfeits his life so that the Holly King forfeits his life so that the Oak King can begin again, bringing the light anew. And in this time, they have a battle for the goddess's favor, which really says to me that there's this battle between the light and the dark in order to integrate into the one that they all are in the goddess, and to fall into favor of this wholeness, of this oneness. And then we're going to visit the Hopi tradition, which is the Katsanam, come down from the San Francisco mountain peaks every year at solstice, in order to bring the people counsel and wisdom and favor for the coming year, the returning of the light. The Katsinam are also known as Kachinas throughout the Pueblo traditions of the Southwest. But again, it's this idea that this is a moment in time when wisdom becomes more available to us. This is a moment in time where we pause and invite the returning, the remembering, the re-coming together of the wisdom of the Kachinas and the people, of the Holly King and the Oak King, and so that there is a wholeness that we align ourselves with. And we have this opportunity to do it again and again. Because, what's real about us is we forget. We forget. We panic in the winter. We think somehow it is never going to get warm again. It is never going to get light again. The sun has abandoned us, and it is all going to crap in a handbasket. And so this is an opportunity to intentionally remember the principle of oneness. To intentionally say yes to this invitation of pause and depth in these darker days. To go within and connect with intentionally the wisdom and the truth of the divine that is only accessed in us because it is our nature. And these stories from around the world, ancient and modern, all point to this same wisdom. And this wisdom has become known as perennial wisdom. The perennial wisdom, which is that there's this golden thread of truth that runs through all of the teachings, all of the faith traditions from the beginning of time to now. And this faith tradition of science of mind that we practice here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, founded by Ernest Holmes, is just one of many perennial wisdom traditions. And I'll tell you, it's the big why for me that this practice works for me. Because I am so clear that nobody has a copyright on the truth, but that we've always known what is true. And Rabbi Ramesh Shapiro of the One River Foundation and author of incredible, incredible texts, he really gets this. And he breaks down what this perennial wisdom is. It's 4 key points. He tells us that all life arises and is in an expression of the non-dual infinite life that is called by many names: ultimate reality, God, the Mother, Allah, Yahweh, Vadhe, Dhammakama, Brahman, the Great Spirit, all the names. That all life arises and is an expression of this non-dual infinite life. Point 2 of perennial wisdom is that we, each of us, contain 2 ways of knowing the world. We have a greater knowing, referred to as Atman, the soul, capital S self, spirit, mind, etc. And that intuitively, this greater knowing knows that each finite life is a unique manifestation of this infinite life. And that we also have another way of knowing, which is a lesser knowing, sometimes called lowercase little s self, the ego, aham, kibur. And that self, it mistakes uniqueness for separateness. And it imagines itself apart from, rather than a part of, infinite life. Point 3 of perennial wisdom is awakening the greater self and knowing the interconnectedness of all life is the singular life, and that it carries with it this knowing that we are part of this one great life, this infinite life, carries with it an ethic of compassion and justice towards all beings. And point 4 is when we awaken our greater self and we live this ethic, it is the highest goal for all spiritual beings. And what I would distill this down to is the principle of oneness. And it is the foundational principles of living a spiritual life. You know, we are a center for spiritual living. And so it is our whole deal to live spiritual truth, to live these principles of oneness, to be an embodiment of the infinite life, consciously allowing that to move us in right action. That's it. That's the whole deal. And there are infinite ways to become aware. There are infinite ways to practice this embodiment. And that's why we will continue to travel to these many faith traditions who all carry this golden thread of perennial wisdom, like the Hopi and like the Yule tradition of the pagan tradition. Because what helps us truly understand, what helps us connect this greater knowing and then embody it, are all of the parables and the stories and the practices. And part of our deal is to find the ones that inspire us to that greater understanding, that inspire us to a deeper embodiment, a felt experience of this infinite life that we are each these beautiful, unique manifestations of. And that's one of the most exciting parts of this solstice tradition, is in this winter solstice, the entire universe and beyond conspires to reconnect us, to remember us. Because the holly god and the oak god, the kachina and the people, it's all one infinite life. We are the dark and the light. We are the wisdom keepers in the mountain peaks, and we are the people who need to be reminded. And when we say yes to the invitation of this time, when we say yes to, you know what, I'm actually going to pause. I'm actually going to take the opportunity of darkness to still myself and pull myself in from the busy and the noise of the outer world to come back to center, to come closer to what is true. Ernest Holmes said about the science of mind teaching that the science of mind is not a special revelation of any individual. It is the culmination of all revelations. The culmination of all the revelations. So what that says to me is there is no faith tradition that is outside of perennial wisdom. There is no spiritual practice that is not a part of this infinite life, this golden thread that runs through it all. Because I think it's easy for all of us to begin to attach ourselves to a tradition or an institution or a way of being and think we have found the thing. But you know what's interesting about the nature of perennial is it's a constant returning. It's a constant growing. For those of you who garden or grow food, what we know about perennial plants and how they are named perennial is because you may plant it once and it continues to come back even after what looks like a death in winter. Even after it drops all of its leaves or maybe even dies all the way back to the ground, it returns. That is the very same truth of our experience of what is perennial, is that there is a root in God that returns and returns and returns and returns. And it is not our job to think that once we've sprouted, once we've found a practice or a tradition or a truth that works for us, that, we've got it, I've grown, I've done all the growing, I've blossomed one time, done. That's a pretty short-lived experience. But if we treat our spiritual journey like the traditions around solstice, like the perennial plant that dies back and returns and dies back and returns and strengthens and grows and gets bigger, becomes more and more and more aware. It becomes more and more and more itself. And that every part of that process, the dying back, the moment of what appears to be no growth, all of it is part of the growth process. So it appears that the Kachinas leave every summer solstice and return to the peaks to come back again at the winter solstice. It appears that the Holly King dies so that the Oak King can rise. But the truth is, it is all one thing, all critical and necessary. I think sometimes we think, all right, I like the Oak King better than the Holly King, so I'm going with the Oak King. Or, I'm a summer person, I'm not a winter person, so I'm just going to kind of suffer through the dark part until I can get back to the light. And we miss out on our wholeness. And we miss out on our growth. We miss out on our transformation. It is also the seed of separation that lives in us individually in that little s self. It is that very seed of separating ourselves from the whole of the infinite that allows us to do the very same thing in the collective, where we separate ourselves from each other, where we separate ourselves based on ideology, where we separate ourselves based on preferences. We separate ourselves based on false ideas we've inherited and not questioned. It is the same seed of separation and all forms of suffering. Ernest Holmes also says, in the Science of Mind text, which is the main text of our teaching, we suffer not because suffering is imposed upon us, but because we are ignorant of our true nature. He goes on to say, the answer to all problems will be found in spiritual realization. The answer to all problems will be found in spiritual realization. All suffering, you can even ask the Buddha, is a result of ignorance to our true, whole, infinite, entirely connected nature. And what's interesting about that is we have this flagship practice in Science of Mind called spiritual mind treatment, also known as affirmative prayer. It has evolved into a 5-step practice, but it originated as 3 steps. Step 1 is you recognize that there is only one infinite life. Step 2 is you unify yourself with this infinite life because you realize that if there is only one, then that one must be right where I am, and I now align myself with that infinite truth. Step 3, realize it. And to realize means to make real, which means we become the living embodiment of this truth. Now, often, as we do with tools, when we think the tool is the thing, rather than the wisdom itself, rather than the principle itself, the tool has become a tool of manifestation. It has become a tool, a form of prayer that people use to get stuff or to change conditions out in the world. Really what it is the entire point of spiritual transformation. To recognize there is only one, and that one is right where I am, and I am going to live this truth. It is the guide to spiritual living. Ernest Holmes said spiritual mind treatment opens up the avenues of thought, expands the consciousness, and lets reality through. It clarifies the mentality, removes the obstruction of thought, and lets in spirit. Removes the obstruction of thought and lets in spirit. Sometimes we whittle down these epic perennial truths into these ideas. Change your thinking, change your life. And yet Ernest Holmes is saying spiritual mind treatment removes the obstruction of thought, which really means get it out of the way. Your thinking has very little to do with this. I'm going to say that again. Your thinking has very little to do with this. Your recognizing, your awareness, your embodiment of this truth has everything to do with it. Are we interested in theorizing spiritual life? Or are we interested in a lived spirituality? One of the questions you were given for ponder for this week, and I'm going to pose it to you now, is what perennial wisdom, what deeper wisdom have you become more aware of this year that you can carry forward embodied in your life? Take a moment right now and really center into what have I learned, what have I understood as a deeper knowing that I want to live in my life. Share that with each other in the comments. Because this is not theory, my friends. This is not about what we think about it all. This is about what we know in our bones and are willing to be a living embodiment of. Pico Iyer, the author of Adventures in Going Nowhere, says, finding what feels like real life, that changeless and inarguable something behind all our shifting thoughts, is less a discovery than a recollection. Because the deal is, it's perennial wisdom because we all know it. And we've known it for eons. And it keeps being these same simple ideas. And that knowing is in us because the infinite life is in us, lives as us and through each one of us, which is why that perennial wisdom just keeps being true. And it isn't something that we have to go discover in a book. It isn't something that we have to go discover in a minister who tells us what is true. It is something that we know. So when we hear it out there, when we read it in a sacred text, we're like, yeah. When we hear the stories of the Kachinas and the Holly King and the Oak King, it resonates with something in us. It helps us to awaken to a truth that is already embedded in our very being as the life of God itself. And I think part of this era we are ushering in this solstice season is not about a particular way of thinking. What it is about is a deeper realization of a greater reality, of our greater knowing that each of us has access to. And that we individually and collectively make that a priority. All problems resolve with spiritual realization. And it is not a mental realization. It is an understanding in the very flesh of our being and a lived spirituality. We make it real. Sometimes it's referred to as a greater reality. The reason it becomes greater is because we each commit ourselves to a lived spirituality that then becomes the greater reality of life itself. And these stories, these ancient parables that live in all of the sacred texts, have been pointing us to this wisdom all along. And I believe this is our moment, y'all. This is when the entire universe not only is conspiring as it has all along, but it's knocking louder than maybe it's ever knocked. Like it's your turn. Make it real. Be the living embodiment of a perennial truth. Be the blossoming, be the sprout. Be the ever-widening trunk of a tree that has been rooted and growing since the beginning of time itself. No longer do we need to spend our time and our energy separating ourselves. I am spiritual, but not religious. No, you are all of it. And I really hope we can put down all of these definitions that we do to separate ourselves. They might be religious, but I'm spiritual. That institution is the problem. And you know what? Here's the thing. It's not about institutions. You don't ever have to be a part of an institution to be religious. Religious, literally, the root of that word means remembering. In order to remember, to bring back together a wholeness, we have to have a daily practice, like a religious practice. Sometimes I think we hide in this idea of I am spiritual but not religious so that we don't have to commit to actually every day being a living embodiment of our spiritual nature. So that we can sort of, dibble-dabble here and there. But what if we decided we were going to be religious? Much like these solstice traditions that happen every year. Every year, the Hopi people come together with the Kachinas to remember. Every year, in the pagan tradition, the Holly King and the Oak King are going to go at it so they can remember that they are one. Every year around the world are religious celebrations so that remembering is the priority. That the invitation of the season itself is met with a holy yes. So if you find yourself identifying as this and not that, as spiritual but not religious, I'm going to invite you into a greater knowing that you are a divine, unique manifestation of infinite life, and so is everybody else. And it requires a religious practice to be the living embodiment of that truth. So I invite us each to identify what seed of separation can I let go of right now? What identification do I claim and probably speak that I can let go of right now in order to usher in a greater wholeness, a greater embodiment of my true nature? I invite you to put that in the comment feed. What seed of separation do you get to leave behind in 2020? And as we close up my talk today, I want to invite you into a practice this week. It's a simple practice of recognizing, step one, unifying, step two, and realizing, step three, this perennial truth, this spiritual principle of oneness. So as this solstice conjunction that is so magical right now for each one of us happens, I invite you into a simple mantra that you can say out loud or to yourself. God is, I am. 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 And recognizing that in that simple set of words, the truth just continues to circle around and come back together over and over. And may that be embodied into the very flesh of your being. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is. And if you are willing to say a divine yes to that invitation, join me as we anchor this in prayer. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, and that is the truth for each and every one of us at all times without fail. Every animated piece of life is the truth of this statement, and it is the truth that continues to blossom and develop and strengthen and grow into the greater reality as a result of our greater knowing and greater embodiment of it. It is always what's going on. And I know that each of us says yes to a religious practice of being a representation of this truth on the planet, bigger and better than ever before. It is so good. It is all good. And I let it be. And together let's anchor this in prayer. And so it is.
I want your heart. I need your heart. Give me your heart. We need your heart. Too many children crying. Why, oh, why, oh, why? Too many people dying. Why, oh, why, oh, why? Too many people starving. Why, oh, why, oh, why? Or too many people harming. Shame, shame, shame on you. I want your heart. I need your heart. Give me your heart. We need your heart. Do that again. I want your heart. I need your heart. Give me your heart. We need your heart. Rich. So many wars, what are they for? So much hate and confusion. I know a solution. Together we pray, one love today. Together we say, one love today. Together we say, I want your heart. I want your heart. I need your heart. Give me your heart. We need your heart. I want your heart. Uh-huh. I need your heart. Give me your heart. We need your heart. Let's go. La 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 la. la la la. I want your heart. I need your heart. I need your heart. Give me your heart. We need your heart.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you all so much for sharing your beautiful hearts. So what have we learned in the darkness and the stillness this season? Brenda Briscoe said, I have learned that even though the world is full of chaos, I can find peace within myself. Yes, Brenda, that peace is always there. Shannon Ellefson, that I am like a flame of light and can help ignite others' lights from within by being the loving spirit that I am. Stephen Scalf said, I am remembering who I am. And Adelicia Phillips said, I am inherently worthy by nature of my being. Those are some powerful I ams. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's all just keep naming and claiming that truth for ourselves and for the world. Couple quick announcements. We are still in the middle of our season of light, so go to abqcsl.org so that you don't miss any of the events we have going on. The next one coming up will be a service on Christmas Eve. So join us for that. It is also not too late to get in on a little fundraiser event that is happening today. You can go to abqcsl.org/give and donate to our cash assistance fund. And then you can drive on over here to the center between 2 and 4. The Big Magic Spirit Group has created art pieces and a bunch of yummy home-baked goodies. And so you just drive through the parking lot. It's like totally safe, and you can pick up some art or some baked goods as our gift to you for donating to the Cash Assistance Fund. So not too late to get in on that. And I want to let you know that prayer support is available in this community. All you need to do is email us prayer@abqcsl.org, and all of our amazing practitioners will hold you in prayer. So I truly hope that you are all staying safe over this holiday season and engaging in activities that fill up your heart and bring you joy, and spiritual practices that keep you connected to that truth that God is and we are. So we're going to close this service with our affirmation. I breathe my intentions into each precious moment, moving at a pace that allows me to experience the ever-present beauty. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful holiday. You're so beautiful to me. See you soon.